Morning everybody, how are you all today? Fantastic day again, as usual. So we're on, I'm actually on day 40. Excuse me while I move this about because I'm walking and talking this time. I usually like to sit down at a bench. I can only do one thing at a time up here. No, a multitasker really. I think everybody would be surprised at that. I like to focus and concentrate on what I'm doing. So this property I bought in 2007. I still have it today, but there's a few things I'm going to be honest about. It's never appreciated in value since 2007. I bought it at peak of the market. I'm not really bothered. It makes no difference to me at all, because I'm still making money out of it, and that's all it was bought for. Hi Andrea, this is all about making money, but more importantly it's about keeping money, and I'll talk about that after this. Morning Nigel. It's all very well, any dare I say, any idiot can make money, but not any idiot can keep money. I think that's the most valuable, important lesson you've got to learn. And as I said, I'll talk about that towards the end. So this one, even though it's never appreciated in value, it's probably gone down a few thousand actually. I've had it rented all the time, and gross rents I've earned out of it in 13 years I've had it is £78,000. That's all right. It's actually given me a return on investment, a return on what I've got in the deal, how much money I've got in, a return of 21% net return. 21% net return. When you get it back, sorry? Oh, zero. 21%. There's no capital appreciation. I'm not bothered. It cash flows every month, at least over £400 in cash flow after the mortgage is paid every single month. It's on a base tracker for life at base plus 1.95. That is a deal. That is a cash cow. That makes money. Morning, Francis. That's what this business is all about. But more importantly, it's about keeping the money. Making sure you can handle it more than anything. Yeah, and I'll talk about that. Again, I'm looking at my notes, so don't worry. I'm not looking away from anybody. I'll talk about that more, about keeping the money. You ever might remember the lottery of millionaires? I mean, it's alright today because they have developed some sort of strategy for them. But you also remember the football pools millionaires. All the millionaires in the 1970s and 1980s that won the football pools. Yeah, I've won the pools. They get millions. And then 3 years later in the paper, and it says they've lost all their money. They've got nothing left. It's like, how on earth does that happen? How is that possible that anybody could get all that money, get all that money and actually lose it? And that's the key. It's more importantly about developing the skill to keep the money, not really make the money, because that's pretty simple when you've got a formula and it works. So let me embellish a bit and talk about a wee parable here. I love parables. A father had 3 sons, 2 daughters, 1 son, 3 daughters, whatever. You fill the blanks. And he each gave some of his son £1,000. And he said, look guys, I want you to take that £1,000 away for a year. This was to teach them a lesson about investment and saving. I want you to take it away for a year. I'm going to sit down the seat here. And I want you to see, morning Amory, I want you to see how much you can make over the year with that £1,000 that I've given you. So the sons all went away, and the daughters, sons, whatever. You get my drift. They all went away, and for a year, number 1 son, daughter, grafted away, worked away, developed it, earned it, and did something. Number 2 did that as well. Number 3 pissed it up against the wall. Spent all the money, went to hell for leather, just couldn't care less. Had everything, no bothered, and that's fine. So after a year, they all came back to meet their dad again. And the dad said to the first son, what did you do? He says, well, I worked really, really hard. I worked very, very hard, and I developed that, and I took that money and I did something with it, and I started my own business, and I developed £3,000 extra on top of that. And the father went, well done, that's absolutely fantastic. The second one said, I took that money, I invested it in bonds, I invested it in the bank, I worked my day job, and I did what I needed to do. And he said, well done to the second one. And the third one came along and said, he had actually borrowed money from his friend, £1,500. And he gave it to his dad and he said, Dad, I worked really hard for this £1,500. Morning, Richard. I did everything possible. I did what I could to get this money. I made £1,500. Now his father knew from stories that he had heard that something was up. So his father took the £1,500 and threw it in the fire. And the son went, why did you throw that in the fire? And the father went, because you didn't really earn that £1,500. Of course I did, Dad, of course I did. I earned that, no bother. I got it. He says, well, I don't believe you. So here's another £1,000. Go away and earn more money with it. So he went away and he just pissed it up against the wall, spent all the money. He didn't even have a chance to pay back his friend. And he came back after a year and he had loaned money again from someone else and he had given it back to his dad, £1,500. And his dad said, what did you do to get that? Morning, Louise. And he said, I did this and I did that and I worked really hard and I grafted. And his dad threw the £1,500 in the fire. And he went, what did you do that for, Dad? You've thrown that money away. What a waste of money. And his dad went, you didn't earn that £1,500. And by this time, the son's thinking, how on earth does he know this? Because he's not been asking, he doesn't know. I've kept this very secret. How is that possible? So he said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you another £1,000. Go away, take that £1,000 and do something with it. Come back to me years later and tell me what you've done with it. So he goes away again. And this time, he thinks, I'm going to have to do something with it this time. So his son starts his own business, a cleaning business, for want of a better word. Cleaning business. He grafts hard, he invests hard, he works hard, he works every hour of the day. He puts all his time and effort in, and he puts all his work in order to get that. And he develops it, and he hones it, and he tunes it, and he gets that money. And at the end of the year, he's got £5,000. And he takes it back to his dad, and he gives his dad the £5,000, and he says, Dad, I've earned £5,000. And his dad throws it in the fire. And the son goes, my God, and dives right in the fire after him to get that money, hauling it out, burning his hands and all the rest of it. And his father went, you earned that £5,000. And that's the moral of the story. You've got to learn how to keep the money. More importantly, did you really earn it in the first place? And I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30.